Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you a very nice M4A1 carbine MOAB on the map Bootleg in a regular 6v6 domination game. Now before I get onto the map and the weapon, I just want to talk a little bit about what was happening. It was a full party of me and the 5 people I game with a lot, 5 pretty good players, and whatever we do is whenever we have a full party in domination, we always go to win the easiest way we can. We try and stomp the enemy team into the ground as fast as possible, get off these easy games, get off the easy victory, and try and get as many kills in the process. And the way you can do this in the Call of Duty, in previous games it was called spawn trapping, but I think in Modern Warfare 3 it is virtually impossible to truly spawn trap people, because if you looked at previous Call of Duties like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops, and the maps that really spring to mind are like Firing Range and Summit on Black Ops especially, you could set up a spawn trap where the enemy would literally spawn in front of you, and if you put a sentry gun on one side, they just wouldn't have a prayer. Now in Modern Warfare 3, one of the things that they have done very well is completely cut that out. You are not going to repeatedly spawn in the same spot and get your head blown off by a guy who's ADSing on a head glitch site for the entire map. You've got to be a little bit more subtle about it, and it takes a lot more skill to manage spawns in Modern Warfare 3 than it does in any of the other Call of Duties. And I think they've got the balance right, because I still think that if you have 6 good players and you're playing well, you should be able to control the spawns, because this is how domination is supposed to be played. Domination isn't supposed to be played with a bunch of headless chickens charging around the map doing whatever they fancy. If you stick together as a team, coordinate well, with all have microphones on, you can dominate lobbies very easily. And that's what we end up doing here, because in Bootleg, the best place to keep the enemy when you're on domination is the A flag, because B and C are probably the best 2 flags, because as you can see in the little bit of the street I'm coming up to here, I'm looking right into A-dom now over this concrete block. Now, I don't like to sit here too long because I think it is a bit cheap, but when the enemies are beginning to rush at you, this is a fantastic spot to hold them off, because there's only really 3 or 4 ways they can come out of A-dom. They can come on the left hand side where I am now, they can go through the centre into the alley, and then they can go on the right hand side through the little gap in the chain link fence on their side, and then up the stairs towards C-dom. Now if you've got 6 players who know what they're doing and coordinating, you can effectively sit back and keep the enemy in this coordinated zone. Now, what I really like about this is that it just takes all of the randomness out of Call of Duty, because the vast majority of your deaths in Call of Duty are going to be people shooting you in the back that you haven't realised. So playing domination in this way really does take all of that out of the equation. You can manage the spawns very nicely and ensure that every gunfight you come into is a head-on-head gunfight. Now if you take that even further in a domination game, the spawns are a lot more predictable in domination than they are in, say, something like Team Deathmatch, where if you push too far in, you flip the spawns, they spawn behind you, and it's quite a fluid game mode. In domination, it's a lot more regimented, a lot more predictable, and that means a good team of players can effectively control the enemy much better than they can in other game modes. Now, you can see here, for example, we've set up with me and probably one other person normally on B Road, which is this area of the map. Now what you can do here is you can keep them in this part of the map. Now we send 2 people into the centre of the map to stop the central alley going towards the centre map stairs and B dom, and we have 2 other people on the far left hand side of the map from where we are by C dom, trying desperately to stop them from getting out of the spawn. Now this is probably the easiest side to do this on. The far side by C is probably the trickiest spot to hold them in, because there's a lot more cover, there's a lot more ways they can come out of spawn. But this side, as you can see here, there's only one way they can really come out. But what people seem to fail to get when they're in this situation is that you need a coordinated team response to get out of this. What made this game so easily is that we were never really put under pressure. We got set up in our positions, and then the enemy came in dribs and drabs. Very rarely did the enemy move as one to bust out of this cordon. Now if you find yourself in a similar position to this team here, where you're getting pushed back, you're getting coordinated very well, and you can't really get out any further than, say, 20 or 30 paces from your spawn, what you need to do is get on your microphone, talk to your teammates, and tell them just to hold back a bit. Get everyone together and then pick one side to charge out of, because as soon as you've burst out of that cordon, it's broken. It's the same with any defensive line. As soon as one part of the defensive line is broken, the whole of it is rendered useless, because you don't keep charging at the bits that are holding, you go through the gap. And that's the whole thing, you know, it's not a broad front on this occasion. If you are finding yourself under pressure in domination, attack one point of the line, the point that you think's the weakest. Now, if you find yourself in this particular predicament in Bootleg, the best way to get out of this is attacking on the right hand side if you're spawning on A. So on the AC side of the map as opposed to the B side. Because as you can see from the side I'm on now, there's only one way you can get out of the A dom area onto B road, and that's that tiny little alley. Now there's 3 or 4 awesome head glitching spots looking at that little alley. I mean, you can go onto the concrete box I showed you earlier. There's a dumpster behind me that you can go onto. You can actually get on top of the van that I'm looking at here as well, lie prone and watch that way. So, you know, it is a horrible, horrible place to go. Don't try and come this way at all if you're in a cordon. What you need to do is go onto the C side of the map, because as soon as you burst out of the chain link fence, you can go a multitude of ways. You can go up the stairs and to C dom directly, or you can cut inside and go into centre map on the top of B dom stairs, and that enables you just to push the enemy back, get the spawns in different location, and then you're fine. Because, you know, that's what the real challenge is in Modern Warfare 3 now, holding this down. Because in Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops, like I said, it was just far too easy to do this. Any group of mugs could do it, you know. Me and one other guy could spawn trap in 6v6 domination, and 4 guys could easily spawn trap in a ground war. But, you know, you need 6 players who know what they're doing, who are constantly talking to each other. I mean, if you look on the left-hand side of the map as well, when people are talking, there's constantly people popping up saying, enemy here, I've lost here, and that's the MOAB kill right there. But, you know, that constant communication is key. If you want to play domination in this way, you've got to do it in quite an organised way. There's no way 6 random players are going to play like this, because greed often takes over. People are desperate to get that kill. So what they'll do is they'll run into A dom. And as soon as that happens, as soon as one enemy or one member of your team goes into that area of the map, the spawns change. And when the spawns change, enemies start spawning behind you, and that is a terrible problem. And it happens a lot in Modern Warfare 3 when the enemies are starting to randomly spawn, or the spawns get mixed up, yet they get dumped in behind you. So this is a fantastic way to cut all of that randomness out. But I think I've talked a lot about how to play domination on this map now, and just how the general tactics of what we're doing work. But I just want to talk a little bit about the M4. Now, the M4 isn't that particularly popular weapon. I don't see a lot of people using it. And if you look at its gun stats, you can understand why. You know, it can't really compete with the SCAR and the ACR. You know, it's not as great as the Type 95 or the G36C. But I don't know. Sometimes, in my opinion, gun stats can be a little misleading. And I just really like the feel of the M4. I don't know what it is. It just, whenever I use it, I feel comfortable. I never feel under pressure. I never expect the M4 to get me killed. And when I use something like the G36C, you know, I'll lose someone in the iron sights, or, you know, someone will surprise me, and I just don't feel I've got that, you know, the reaction time with the weapon, or the ADS is slightly slow. So in my opinion, the M4 is a weapon that you guys really need to try out, especially as a lot of people seem to skip it, because when you're prestiging, you unlock the SCAR very, very early on. So you see a lot of people who just spawn in, try and rush to the SCAR as fast as possible, get that and move on from there. But as you can see, just quickly talking about this side of the map, I'm looking right at this chain link fence here. Now, if this team that we were playing against was sensible enough to flash me out of this area, they would be out of this trap in a heartbeat. It's only because they are completely and utterly useless that we can do this. And as you can see there, as soon as one teammate pushed too far, the enemy spawns flipped and they get behind you. So you cannot be greedy in this. You've got to work in the team mentality, get that nice orderly line of defense going, and keep the enemy where you are. And that was really, really unfortunate. You know, I was on a 39 gun streak there. I was hoping to keep it to the end of the game, but you never know. Can't happen all the time. Not too much to get disappointed out. But anyway, guys, the commentary is slowly winding to an end. I hope you enjoyed listening to how me and my team go about playing domination. There's a lot more thought about it than it took in Modern Warfare 2. Because like I was saying, you could just easily spawn trap in Modern Warfare 2, and you can't do it in Modern Warfare 3. You've got to have a little bit more of a strategy, a bit more of a game plan, and you've got to know what you're doing to effectively control spawns in this way. Now, I think the final score is 45-5. I ended up getting the MOAB as well with the M4. I was really, really pleased with the game. I really hope you've enjoyed listening to the commentary and watching the gameplay. If you did, I would be thrilled if you could take the time to rate the video. It really does help me out. But guys, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.